Good evening and welcome to News Review. The local branch of Norwich and Peterborough Building Society is to close down at the end of this year. This was confirmed by the company's head office in answer to GBC questions. The shock announcement was made verbally to the staff on Tuesday morning, and customers will be contacted over the next few weeks.
The 12 employees will be offered a redundancy package and what a spokeswoman described as placement support to enhance their prospects of finding alternative employment. They will also be given priority if jobs become available in UK branches. With immediate effect, no new business will be conducted, although existing customers will be able to continue operating their fixed-rate savings account up to maturity dates and regular savings to the next anniversary dates. Mortgages will continue until the end of their term. A spokesman said the decision to pull out of Gibraltar follows a detailed review. He added that the demands of operating a single overseas branch are no longer viable for the society. Norwich and Peterborough, which is the trading name for the Yorkshire Building Society, has set up a helpline for customers wishing to find out more information. The number is 0044 1733 362 695. GBC requested an interview, but this was declined. The company's decision represents the second major blow to Gibraltar's financial sector in the past 4 months, after the news that Barclays will be closing down its Main Street retail bank in January 2015.
Reactions to the news from the government, who noted regret at the decision, saying it was particularly disappointing given that Parliament enacted the YBS Act at the Society's request, following representations received by the Minister that the passing of the Act would not impact on staff, operations and customers in Gibraltar. Meanwhile, the GST opposition says the announcement is a bitter pill for Gibraltar to swallow so soon after the announcement by Barclays. It says the immediate concern must be for the employees and their families, but the impact on the future lending needs of the community must also be assessed. The government and the Ocean Village Group of companies have reached an agreement that will enable further expansion in the Ocean Village complex. Pending approval by the Development and Planning Commission, the area will see the construction of a World Trade Centre as well as a multi-storey car park and short-stay residential accommodation. The government has welcomed the proposed multi-million-pound investment.
The first tangible outcome of the new agreement, reached after many months of detailed negotiations, is Trinity House, that's already going up outside the southern entrance to Ocean Village. The structure is made of wood from sustainably grown forests and is consequently almost entirely carbon neutral. The government says the building has already been pre-let to an international bank but has not identified which. A multi-storey car park will be built on this site with spaces for over 500 vehicles, some of which will be assigned to residents of the area. And in the medium term, a residential building will be constructed in between the two Ocean Village towers. The most eye-catching addition, though, will be the World Trade Centre that will be located next to the Victoria Stadium and will cost many tens of millions of pounds. The developers are confident that the World Trade Centre will help enable the next phase of Gibraltar's economic growth.
Prices for the newly announced Mons Calpe Mews and Beachview Terraces government housing schemes will start from as little as £27,600 for a one-bedroom flat on a 50-50 basis. At the top end, a four-bedroom flat at 100% purchase could cost just short of £200,000 for the largest apartment. Priority will be given to prospective purchasers who are on the housing waiting list. The schemes were announced on Wednesday by the Chief Minister.
The new housing schemes are among the GSLP Liberal government's marquee manifesto commitments during this term of office. Just under 900 flats will become available and priority will be given to those on the housing list, with the choice of full or co-ownership left up to the purchaser.
This will be hugely exciting for those people who are on the government's housing waiting list, who have been waiting for some time to see what the affordable housing proposition that this government was going to put to them was going to be. These are two great projects, one of them in the old coach park next to Waterport Terraces, continuing that area of development, and another one in the area of the old aerial farm just by Eastern Beach, affording fantastic living just on the beach, and really the beginning of what will be the development of that area once the eastern development of marinas and high-end luxury accommodation is developed. So they're going to be in a privileged position in either of these developments.
The government is the developer, so there's no developer profit, and the land is provided free of charge. So prices, according to the government, are the lowest possible in today's market. Beachview Terraces is being built at the aerial farm site just off Eastern Beach. One-bedroom flats start at around 50,000, or half that on the 50-50 scheme. Three-bedroom flats start at 102,000, and the most expensive four-bedroom flat is 157,000. The flats are being constructed by GBC. Monscalpe Mews is where the old coach park site was, and has been contracted to Casais Limited. The smallest one-bedroom here will cost around 92,000. Three-bedroom flats start at 134,000, and the largest four-bedroom will cost 198,000. Again, on the 50-50 scheme, they will be half the price advertised. All prices have been calculated per square metre.
In 2014, we are offering a 2 RKB, a one-bedroom property with a sitting room, at £27,600 as a starting price.
That's at 50%.
That's at 50%, and you don't have to buy more than 50% to get priority. We are not going to act as the previous government did, giving priority to those that buy 100%. If you buy 50% or 100%, your priority is determined by your place on the housing waiting list. The maximum price that you would pay would be £99,000 for the largest four-bedroom in the area of the coach park, and that is really a huge home, the square meterage of which is unrivaled in anything developed previously by the government as affordable housing.
Breaking ground at both sites has already started, and the government says it's confident that both schemes can be ready within this term of office, so they could be completed within 2 years.
This was planned from the day we got into office. We started planning for this project. We would have loved to have started this project as from day one, but also to ensure that the product is good and that the product is of a very high standard. You know, there are things that had to be done, and we're very satisfied that we have achieved this. So now, you know, it's where our deadline is within this term of office, and we will push on for that.
Part of one of the developments will finish in the early part of 2016, which is still within the lifetime of this Parliament potentially. But certainly the choice has to be to build to the quality required by people so that they have the quality homes that they deserve, and not to finish by a particular time, although I'm very confident that we will finish most, if not all, of these homes by the time I call the next general election.
We come to another problem, though, mortgages. Will people be able to get them, considering that two lenders are leaving Gibraltar?
Well, I don't see that is going to be a problem. First of all, you're wrong to say that there are two lenders leaving Gibraltar. Barclays Bank has said it will offer mortgages in respect of these developments, so that is not so much an issue. They're going to be offering mortgages until 2016. One of the building societies we've heard yesterday, unfortunately, is leaving Gibraltar. Consider it this way, Jonathan. The existing co-ownership schemes, many of the first ones in particular, were offered for sale and all were sold long before the particular building society that is leaving Gibraltar actually had a presence in Gibraltar. And with the number of lenders available to lend in Gibraltar being less than there are today, even before Gibraltar International Bank has managed to establish itself.
More information can be obtained from a showroom which has been rented and set up for a few months opposite the Cathedral of St. Mary the Crowned. The closing date for applications will be the 14th of March.
A 27-year-old local man was arrested Thursday night for allegedly being in possession of a gun. The incident happened just before 10 p.m. on Main Street. According to eyewitness accounts, police officers had to chase the man before detaining him. They then cordoned off the area surrounding Parliament and later confirmed a firearm had been recovered. It's believed no one was injured in the incident. The 27-year-old man spent a night in cells. The circumstances surrounding the arrest are still under investigation. A cross-border group of unions and associations was in Brussels this week to present EU officials and MEPs with documental evidence of the problems experienced at the Gibraltar frontier. The group's lobbying trip is self-funded. Their goal is to communicate to EU decision-makers that the excessive queues are having an adverse effect on cross-border trade and unemployment. Our reporter Kellyanne Turnbull travelled with them.
Last month, 50 concerned Gibraltarians were demonstrating right here in Brussels. Just last week, the Chief Minister and Deputy Chief Minister were also here, meeting with British MEPs and EC officials. This is now the third lobbying trip this year at the European Parliament in regards to extreme delays at the frontier. The Cross-Frontier Group is comprised of 8 different organisations from both sides of the border, including unions, the Chamber of Commerce, the GGCA and the GTA, as well as a federation of small businesses and its Spanish counterpart, ABIMEL. The dossier they are presenting at the EU Parliament is entitled European Union, What Happened to the EU's Freedom of Movement.
The dossier itself contains a lot of testimonials and a lot of evidence, but from a very human factor, which is what we're hoping to put across. So instead of statistics-based, it's really trying to get across the human impact that the situation that we're living at the frontier is having on people's lives.
As you mentioned, the human impact, you're representing the people, you're representing the cross-frontier workers, the teachers, the businesses. So just what kind of impact are the border delays having on a human level?
Well, exactly. The group itself represents a spectrum. I myself of the Gibraltar Federation of Small Businesses. The group itself is composed of union and business associations from both sides of the border, so both from Spain and from Gibraltar. We've got around the table because this is a factor, this is a common threat, you could say, that is affecting both the employees and the employers. The human impact is exactly that there's no free movement of the individuals, of the citizens, where there should be. That it's affecting their access to work, which is, their right, and in turn it affects the businesses.
And what's interesting is that it's 8 organisations represented within the group, including Spanish nationals, yet you're all working towards the same aim.
Absolutely. This group has a very clear objective, and the clear objective is, it's twofold. Is one, not only to get a resolution, a normalisation of the frontier situation, but in fact, to go one step further, what we want is the proper procedures, the proper infrastructure, and the proper resources to be put into place so that we have a fluid frontier. Whatever it is that they have to deal with at the frontier, that they do it in a way that doesn't affect the movement of people. And secondly, we're also petitioning for a permanent EU member or EU unit to observe, to stay there on a permanent basis and observe until the situation is resolved.
And just how realistic do you think this request is?
Well, I don't think it's a question of realistic or not. I think these are our rights and we've got to push for them, and we will push for them until we get heard.
And of course, this is the third lobbying trip to the EU Parliament this year so far. So what happens next if your trip isn't as successful as you hope it to be?
Well, like I said, I think it's a case of continuing to put pressure on the EU. I don't think we can give up. Like you said before, there's other groups, from one background or another that are also lobbying to the EU. And I think it's this continuous pressure that has to be maintained until, we get our rights observed.
Tomorrow, the group will meet with the European Commission Director for Migration and Borders, Belinda Pike, as well as MEPs of different political formations. The Cross-Border Group's message is really quite simple. We want to be treated humanely and civilly when crossing the frontier, and their lobbying will continue tomorrow. Kellyanne Turnbull, GBC News, Brussels.
And we'll be back with more of this week's news after the break.